Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon. I'm here with my partner in crime, Rick, and this is the Slams Fist Fact podcast. This is episode 1, as you all may know, that we started this a while ago, but all the lovely platform sites, for some reason, don't have any of our episodes on there anymore besides YouTube. So, welcome to the brand new podcast that we're starting today on October 7th. This is episode 1 of the newly revived Slams Fist Fact podcast. But Rick, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, dude. It's been a long time since we've done one of these bad boys. Almost a little over a year, I think.
Yep. Yeah. I think our last episode was quite a ways back.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Rick and I both, we didn't want to end the podcast, but we had a lot going on in our lives with just work, and then I moved this summer to like same town, just a different place is all.
Tell them where you moved, dude.
hmm I moved into my wife and I bought our first house. So that is
Woohoo!
super awesome. I feel like an adult. I built a shed last weekend and a little bit this weekend and cut like half my finger off on some sheet metal, so that was awesome. And the shed's still not
Adult
done.
things.
Well, I think they messed up my shed. So,
Oh,
okay. So I bought 2 weekends ago, my buddy Tommy and Dalton, who are both on the old podcast that clearly doesn't exist anymore, um, helped build the frame. We built a wooden frame, leveled out the ground, or level base for our shed, right? And then me and Eddie, who's also on the podcast that doesn't exist anymore, um, came and helped me put like the metal shed together. We get to the roof, we have the walls on, and then the three, like, I guess, parts of the triangle that like you're gonna drill the roof into, right?
the
And
Joyce.
yes, and the pre like drilled holes to where the screw will go into on the top one are all a half an inch off from where the holes are drilled on like the roof, the metal shingles. And then
Mm.
so I was like, okay, maybe I did this wrong, put the wrong numbers on somewhere. No, because I took that down. Everything is right. So I'm going to have to go this weekend and take a little drill and drill tiny little holes, half an inch in between all of those bad boys, so I can have a roof on my shed.
Huh.
So my 1.5 week adventure of building a shed has turned into a 3 week, the past 3 weekend event, and I'm not about that. But it's going to be awesome because I feel like a man now.
Yeah. That's pretty exciting, dude.
I
Big
guess.
kid stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought a shed. That's what got me going this weekend, son. um
Mm-mm-mm.
so with this new podcast, I feel like we started with something new as our first thing. So, Rick, what are you drinking?
Tonight I'm just going real simple here. I got me a nice little diet Coca-Cola beverage.
There you go.
Always sponsored by Big Cola.
Yes, big cola is how we do it. I'm going halfway healthier than Rick. I'm going Mountain Dew, but it's zero sugar.
Wow.
Zero
Wow.
sugar and water.
Mm. Wow, look at you double fisting
I
over there.
know. For all of you that know, we are large drinkers on this podcast. We enjoy our adult beverages, but I won't be indulging in any alcoholic beverages until January. January, I can tell you the exact date, actually. Let me pull up my calendar. I'm not going to drink one single drop of alcoholic beverage except a couple of tastings in my trip to London in a few weeks until January 10th.
And why is that date significant?
Because January 9th, I run a half marathon. And then January 10th, I'm getting fucked up at
Oh,
Epcot. We're going to do drinks around the world.
I believe you'll be messed up that day for sure.
Yes. Yeah, the half
One way or
marathon.
another.
The half marathon is at Disney World. It is running through the parks, which is fine. Been training for it, so we're good. I only have to average a 16-minute mile, so I mean, that's nothing. Just got to do
Not
it.
too terrible.
Just got to do it for 13 miles straight. which is fine. If I run like 3 of them or 4 of them way lower than that, it gives me some leeway at the end of the track to do.
I believe in you.
But also not drinking will help me out a little bit.
For sure.
It'll help me lose some weight that I'm trying to lose anyways, so that's always a lovely positive. But on to our lovely next section, which is my dearest section of the heart because they're always fun, and then we always end up going on a tangent on these anyways, is This Week in History. Rick, I picked 3. You said you have 2. We both said that we were going to try to limit it to 1, and now we have 5, ladies and gentlemen. So you can tell where our priorities lie on what we like to talk about here. What's your first one? We'll alternate. We got time.
Okay. So my first one is this day in history, matter of fact, October 7th, 1984. Walter Payton becomes the all-time leading rusher in NFL history. Do you know off the top of your head what his career total ended at?
Yes.
Oh, yeah? Then please indulge me.
I know it's over 10 and less than 20.
Yes, that very small margin right there. It does fit right in the middle of those somewhere.
I want to say it's in the 16,000 range.
Be a pretty good guess. Let me hear an exact yardage out of you, sir.
No,
No.
like exact, like this is
To the yard.
To the yard.
I'll start you off.
I think 16.
You're right with 16,000. You're right with 16. Now there's 3 digits that come after that.
I think it's more than 16.5. Don't me. I'm gonna go with 16,726 because I know that's correct.
Yes, it sounds like you looked that up. I was wondering if we would have some overlap or if we had seen something similar. Yes. So Walter Payton became the league leader in history in 1984 and then he finished his career with 16,726 yards, which is currently second all time behind the great Emmitt Smith and his ridiculously good offensive line.
You mean the great Arizona Cardinal, Emmitt Smith? Shout out to Brandon Pickle there.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. 1984. Walter Payton had 3 more seasons after that. And pretty much this season, since he did it on October 7th, only had 4 games in. So he had another about 4. So he did that at 12,000 yards.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. My first one, that's cool. Not sports. Also didn't write it down. Just Googled Walter Payton real quick. But I did say the 16 before I Googled him. I knew he was in the 16s. So this week, October 9th, the world changed forever, I think. I know it changed forever. I don't know whether a good or bad way. Still kind of deciding that. But FDR approved the Manhattan Project this week. So our boy Oppenheimer got the nod to start figuring out how to just figuring out how to split atoms in half, and then they ended up making an atom bomb. So, and then they made a hydrogen bomb a couple years later.
Pretty big deal. Pretty big change in how things went from there on.
World changing. What's your second one? I'll only do 2 since you had 2.
October 8th, 1918.
We didn't write any that are the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I really thought this might be where we had the for sure overlap. October 8th, 1918. Alvin York of the U.S. military captures the German machine gun battalion in the Argonne forest of France by himself, reportedly took out over a dozen German men and captured 132 of them by himself. Again, just so we're clear.
Yeah.
Later was awarded the Medal of Honor and the French Croix de Guerre, meaning the Cross of War, which was became kind of a traditional medal that the French military awarded other countries' service members with.
Mm. Good for him, but I bet he's never bet he melt.
Yeah,
Exactly.
those
You know
words.
what? Good for that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to
Yeah,
say what I was
Mr.
going to say since I messed that up so bad.
Mr. Alvin York.
There you
What a
go.
man.
Shout out to Alvin. Bet he never built a shed, though, before.
I can't definitively say yes.
Yes, it's true. This coming Saturday, 1915, Ford sold its millionth car. And now there are probably 1 million cars sold worldwide every day now.
I'd have to assume it'd be close to that. If not.
Has to be. Or at
That's
least
crazy.
made. I'm sorry. Excuse me. They didn't sell. They made their millionth car. So there's definitely over 1 million of those made a day.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if that's true, but it's probably pretty damn close.
yeah.
Might be in America alone.
I was about to say it would be a ton, especially if we talk about all the manufacturers, right?
Yeah. You know, Honda, Toyota, Ford, Jeep.
And whatever other ones there are.
Yeah. Truck. Just truck. Like Big Cola. Truck.
Big Cola truck.
Truck.
I also want Big Truck to
Big truck.
sponsor
Yes.
sponsor this podcast.
Yes, big truck, big cola, and then small lowrider truck. Please sponsor this podcast. But no, those were great. I didn't have a third. I lied, so we only brought two apiece. Definitely thought I wrote two. I wrote 2 lines about Oppenheimer though, so that's what got me confused about my third fact. First line says our boy Oppenheimer, and then it goes on with the actual fact of what actually happened that day.
Beautiful.
Cool. So now we're on to a little segment that Rick and I are going to start doing. We're trying to keep these podcasts a little bit lower in time than our normal, like hour to hour and a half that we usually did, trying to keep y'all just entertained for about 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to each pick a current event topic or something that happened to us during the week, and we're going to discuss it. And right now, I want to talk about how I am very set on wanting to live in the Amazon rainforest. Rick doesn't
This is wonderful.
Rick doesn't really know anything beyond that. So
Nope, I just have encouraged him blindly in his pursuit.
It's going to be a hard sell for the wife, but we'll see how it goes. So I was listening to a podcast, the one popular one that's just a little bit higher rating than ours.
Just barely.
I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and he had a guy on there called Paul Rosoli. I don't know how to say his last name, and I'm sorry if I messed it up, but that's how I'm going to say it. So he's a conservationist, right? He is American. He's from New Jersey or New York, one of those two. They're the same thing.
New Jersey's just the tail of New York.
Yeah, so he's the founder of this group called Jungle Keepers. They're trying to protect the Amazon from being torn down, right? So he's lived in the Amazon for 20 years now. And I'm pretty sure they didn't touch on it except for a couple of times. But I'm pretty sure he's an Army veteran before that. And then after that, this is what he did. But he made it sound so cool on what they do. And not just the fact of living in the rainforest and seeing, wild animals and tribes and stuff like that. But he really went on there and sold the point of like, it's cool and fun. And it made me go, you know what? I could do that. So I'm going to. I don't care. I want to. But like he was saying some cool things. So he was on they've saved like 100,000 acres of the Amazon rainforest so far. Or something with the number 100,000. I can't remember if it was acres or square miles or what. And that's 1/3 of the rainforest that can be saved. And so they're on their way to, you know, saving a lot of it. But he took Lex Friedman down there. They did a podcast on the Lex Friedman podcast. They were sitting in the rainforest. Why they did it? Because they have Starlink down there. So, whatever they could do it. And he took him on a trip, and they were going up and down these mountains into uncharted, never before seen, like, rain by, like, modern humans' eyes, right? And they were going to go on a little, like, 5-day, 6-day adventures, like 30-mile hike or whatever. And they run out of water on day 2, thinking, like, oh, it's the rainforest. They find streams. They could not find a stream because they found this, like, really mountainous part. And they kept having to go up and down. And they didn't want to go back down, so they kept climbing this peak one way and just could not find water anywhere. To the point to where, and he says he has this video, it's on his Instagram, of where Lex is just staring at a puddle of still water. He said, like, as big around as a boot, and just looking at it and just looking up and going, I'm going to drink it. And he's like, no, you can't drink that water. And Lex is like, this is the only thing I care about right now in my entire life, as I want to drink this water. And he ended up not drinking it, but they found a tree. Can't remember what the tree was called, but it was huge, like an old ancient tree, like super, super old. And he was like, oh, dude, he goes, nobody's ever been here, saw it. He goes, they walked like half a mile further, and then they found a road. And he goes, if you find roads in the Amazon, it means that loggers are there, and they're about to tear shit down. And so what they did was they found the road, walked back to their camp, got some people. There was some other guy visiting. There was some rich guy. And gave them, like, he was like, I'll give y'all 100,000 to start to buy this land to where those loggers can't. So they get the government involved. They buy the land. If, like, he did a GoFundMe where he matched the money from the guy. And then they bought the land, and all the loggers were like, well, what are we going to do for work now? And the guy's like, I don't know. He goes, why do y'all do that? Like, why do y'all just log? He goes, it's the only way to make money around here. He goes, we'll just be rangers for y'all. We know the rainforest. We just log because we make money. And the guy's like, are you serious? So now what they're doing, instead of getting all the loggers in trouble, they just go to the loggers and they hire them as rangers for their conservation efforts now. And now the loggers don't have people to use their equipment to start tearing down the rainforest. But anyway, it seems really cool, and I'm going to do it. I want to do it.
Now that would be awesome. And obviously, like you said, they have like the Starlink and things like that
Yeah.
to be able to get some level of interaction and like communication. But the overall concept of being so removed from a lot of like just current modern age stuff,
Yeah,
is just so appealing.
well,
It's just so appealing.
Joe was trying to tell him about like modern events, because this guy's like big into, like he likes UFC, so they like stream the UFC fights on Starlink and things like that. But Joe was trying to Joe was trying to explain to him like something that was going on like in Austin or like present day, and the guy's like, well, what do you mean by this? And it's like a common knowledge thing that this guy just doesn't know, because he's not in first world society or keeps up. Like, his social media presence is like Instagram and Twitter, and all it is just about saving the rainforest, and that's it, right? Like, it's eye-opening. And he was talking about being bitten by a bullet ant. And he said the first time he got bitten by a bullet ant was on purpose. He goes, it's like a ritual thing, like a rites of passage thing that the locals make you do to do the thing. And they play bullet ant roulette. And what happens is you put your arm out like this. You put the bullet ant facing like your wrist. So it's going to walk down your arm. And the second somebody sets it there, somebody else puts their arm beside yours, and you smash your arms together. And whichever person the bullet ant bites loses. And then the other one keeps playing with the group. And then the last person to not get bit wins.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a hard no for me, dog. If you aren't familiar with bullet ants, I do encourage you to do a quick Google. It's supposed to be, I mean, they're literally named because the bite is supposed to be somewhere in the equivalent of being shot. It
Yeah.
is literally one of the most painful experiences in like natural world.
So he got
Um,
he got bit
so I'm out.
first. Yeah. He got bit first, and he said he was out for about 36 hours. Not asleep, but just didn't feel comfortable standing, didn't feel comfortable laying down, arm was on fire, felt like he had the flu and wanted to throw up, all kinds of stuff. And then he was like, he said he's been bit 11 times now. And he goes, it doesn't even bother me. I guess he's
I just can't even believe that.
so,
I just
dude,
can't.
he goes, I wake up from my tent the other night. He goes, I walk outside to go to the bathroom. He goes, I get bit on the ankle. He goes, I just smack it away and I look at it and I go, damn it. And then I just went right back to bed. And he goes, he doesn't get the, he goes, you still feel like absolute shit, but not as much as
I mean, it
as
wouldn't
you
be.
were a
I get
while
that it
ago.
wouldn't have you wouldn't have the same surprise factor. Maybe knowing what to expect helps, but there's just no way that I can imagine that you're just fine after that.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna say that's an experience I'll be perfectly fine with never having.
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, okay.
I don't want the experience unless I choose to live in the Amazon rainforest, though.
Nope. I think you should have to go to some type of wildlife place that they might have one of those, and you should just ask to be bit.
No. Well, you could do the ritual that the dudes do to be a man and put the bullet ant gloves on like Steve-O did in Wild Boys.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Still a no for me, but I'll happily watch you.
No, I wouldn't do that either. One would be enough, not them glued inside of gloves just ready to bite me. I'm okay. But if anybody wants to fund that's a millionaire listening to this, my adventure into the Amazon, don't do it. Just go to this guy's page and give him money instead since he's already down there.
Or do it so Brandon has to go and get bit by a bullet ant.
One of the two, whichever one you'd rather see. A fun side note fact before we go on to our lovely next segment. My brother just texted me and goes, so spur of the moment, me and Haley, his wife, bought Post Malone tickets. And I quote, he goes, we close as fuck. We're first row behind the pit. Didn't even notice when we bought the tickets.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's going to be amazing. That's going to be fun.
I saw Post in person at a music festival in Atlanta, and it was a great show. He's an awesome performer, and I enjoy a lot of his music.
Austin said that he went to go see him in Raleigh this past week, and I mean, plus he made a country out. His country music's awesome too, so it's
pretty good.
fun. It's fun, but yes. But anyway, I'm going to the rainforest. Let me know. I'll do that. I'll fly some little LiDAR planes, Graham Hancock. If you want me to do that, just reach out, holler at your boy.
Just reach out.
I'll do whatever. It'd be cool to do something like that. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
Graham, have your people get with his people. Yeah. Just so we're clear, I'm his person.
Yeah, if you look right down below, we have our email. We both have access to it. We might have to fill out a security question to sign back in, but it's just the extra layer of security we need with my people knowing your people.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
So Rick, explain to everybody what's this next little segment that we're doing.
The next segment is going to be a fun little game where one of us, we're going to alternate podcast, where one of us chooses a topic and we find the top 5 of that topic, whatever way we're going to categorize it, and the other person has to guess. So we kind of started this in the previous podcast that no longer exists, everywhere but YouTube, and so we're going to try and keep score. on who does better at this
Oh,
game.
I can keep score. I have a whole book we'll make for scores only.
So this week, I got to decide what we're doing the top 5 of, and Brandon gets to guess. So, are you ready, Brandon?
Let me label it week 1. Top 5. Sure.
Brandon's guessing.
Yes.
And we are going to have Brandon guess the top 5 highest grossing rom-coms in history. Talking about movies, specifically, not books or any other form of media. We are talking about movies.
Are you going to give me the list?
Excuse me?
Like, are you going to give me like the 5 and I have the guess which
Oh,
ones?
No.
Oh, I just guess.
Yeah. Now, both of us are married. I grew up in a household with a lot of ladies, so I got to actually. I'll tell you right now.
Number 1, and if it's wrong, I'll be upset.
So, fun fact: I would bet you almost that you don't, because number 1 surprised me.
I know number 1 because it is one of my
I've
faves.
seen the first 6. I looked at a list. I found a list, highest grossing, and the top 6. I'm like, yep. But number 1 still caught me off guard. So as a favor, I can give you number 1, but then you have to get 2 through 6. That's your option.
Okay. Can I guess at number 1 and it doesn't count since you're going to give it to me?
If you still plan on guessing 2 through 6.
I plan on guessing 2
if I
through
don't
6.
give you one.
No. I want one because I think I know what it is. And if it's not what you say, I think this one, what I'm about to say, is number 2.
Okay.
I think.
Go ahead and just give me what you think it might be.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
It is not number 1.
Is that number 2? I guess I'll wait.
But it is in the 2 through 6. So I'll give you credit for it. My Big Fat Greek Wedding is number 3 all-time highest grossing rom-com.
Okay, so I get credit for that one.
Yes. Do you want me to still give you number 1?
Yeah, because I'm going to do 2 through 6.
Okay. Number 1 is The Little Mermaid live action.
That does not count as a rom-com.
It does. It is a romantic comedy. It just happens to be made by Disney. It is live action movie, not animated. And it surpassed all the other ones on this list, surprising enough. That's why I said I would give it to you.
Where did you get this list?
The internet.
What site would put that as a rom-com, though?
I mean, to be fair, what would you categorize it as? The live action.
Not like live action, but not like fantasy-wise of like swimming under the fucking water. Like I'm thinking about like.
I'm sorry. Are you saying Under the Sea? You asked for that one. It is a romantic comedy. And if you have any debates on the comedy part, please go rewatch the Scuttlebutt song.
Okay, whatever.
Hey, I gave it to you. Come on, I'm being nice. But now you get to guess 2 through 6. Number 3 is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. You do not have to put them in order.
Okay, I definitely
if you
think
say one.
Pretty Woman is up there because it's amazing.
Pretty Woman is number 2. All-time highest
baby.
grossing rom-com. So you have 2 and 3.
What else?
4, 5, and 6.
So 1's Pretty Woman, 2's My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The one with Mel Gibson in it.
Well, no Googling, first of all.
I'm not.
You better not be Googling.
I'm not Googling. I'm not Googling.
But now I need you to tell me what Mel Gibson movie you're talking about. He's been in a couple kind of rom-com-ish or at least romantic movies.
I know. I'm trying to think.
Apocalyptica? No.
Yeah, Passion of the Christ, whatever, you know. It's called What Women Want.
Oh, looking at his phone, he happens to see what.
My phone is over here closed.
Yeah, whatever he says, y'all.
Fuck.
I need y'all, once this goes live and once
look,
people
it's
can
right
see
there.
it,
nothing.
Yeah, whatever. once we'll debate on whether Brandon should get credit for that one,
No,
but it is
dude, that's
what
a
women want.
good
What
movie.
women
He
want
literally
is
can
number
hear what the
4.
women are thinking.
Yes, number 4 highest grossing rom com is What Women
How
Want with
many
Mel Gibson.
strikes
That
do
is
I
correct.
get? 3?
Sure.
Sweet
That's how we'll
Home
play it.
Alabama.
Not on here. That's your first strike.
I mean, um,
Swing and a miss. Funny enough, you have kind of gone in order. Like, I mean, obviously, Pretty Woman, you guess second, but you have
yeah, they're
2,
right.
3, 4.
I guess 2, 3, and 4. Sweet
I
Home
think
Alabama.
one of these, I think one of these is pretty easy. The others, I would have thought a little more niche, but hey,
All right, I'm going with my favorite rom com, which should be number 1, not The Mermaid. This movie, that's bullshit. Mama Mia.
not on the list.
What?
Strike
Boo,
2.
dude. Boo.
I don't think Mamma Mia cracked the top 10. I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look at the list, but I don't even think that cracked top 10.
It should.
And remember, this isn't ratings. This is just what it made in the box office.
I know.
People don't like musicals.
I don't know any.
They're wrong, but
Yeah,
some people
like
don't like.
look at The Greatest Showman and Grease and Les Mis and.
All right, sir. Back on topic. You got 2 strikes. You got 2 left to guess.
I don't know them. It's a more recent rom com that would make
Better take a wild swing. I'm really surprised if you don't guess one of these. Number 6, specifically. If you don't guess it, I'm a little shocked.
Is it newer?
I don't know what newer is to you.
Is it made past 2000?
Newer. It's newer than Pretty Woman, and that's the only hint I'll give you on that.
Pretty Woman was either made in 1990 or 1999. So I got a 10-year swing here.
I was about to say that's a big gap. Pretty Woman was made in 1990, just so we're clear.
It's one of the two. Dude, this sucks. I cannot wait for my list next week because it's gonna be hard. You would be upset that I wouldn't get it. What is something funny, romantic that I would like?
And a lot of people clearly like.
Hitch.
Number 6.
There we go. But you said I would guess 5.
Nice. No, I said I would hope you would have guessed 6, which happened to be Hitch. I'm surprised number 5 is higher than number 6, but he's in the bottom of the ninth.
I was about to say something that I know would be up here in money wise, but it's definitely not a comedy. I was about to just blurt out The Notebook.
Yep, not on this list. So yeah, so you got 2 strikes. You got 1 movie left to guess. It's the 5th highest grossing rom-com all time.
And it's an American-made movie, right? These aren't like
It is. It's not a Bali film or something.
Thank you.
That. I should have done that. No, I'm actually going to go ahead and assume.
Okay, I have one guess.
Like a clarification. Real quick, I didn't see a clarification, but I do assume this is American box office.
Because this is the only other rom-com that popped. I have 2 rom-coms that popped into my head right now, and I don't think this one with Ryan Reynolds in it would make the top 6. So
I don't know.
I think it's, but I can't remember what the movie's called. I'm stuck on the last word of the movie. I think the movie's called There's Something About Mary.
And that's number 5, ladies and gents.
I about said Molly.
Yes, Something About Mary with Ben Stiller.
Yes.
Great movie. But I was still surprised it was higher than Hitch.
I was between that and The Proposal.
Will Smith's a big name. The Proposal, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the top 6.
Yes.
Oh, great game. Good round.
Yeah, well, I mean, you
I
picked.
shouldn't have given you Mermaid. I would have had you sitting
I
here
was.
stumped.
I would have got 3 out of 5 if you would have didn't give me the mermaid because I guessed Hitch before. There's something about Mary.
That's true. That's true.
But I probably would have
You
guessed
definitely
both
would have
since you would have
struck
given me
out.
3 strikes, but I still would have tried to get number one.
Hmm.
I was between There's Something About Mary, The Proposal, and then My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
Also a great movie.
Thinking it was on there. That would have been rough. But, I mean, you went right into my wheelhouse of movies, and I know movies
Yes.
like
I try to be nice.
fucking nothing. I'm not going to be nice. I'll be nice next week. I'll be nice. I'll be nice, and I'll give you number one and make you guess 2 through 6 as well. If
Only
you
if
want
I
that.
ask.
If you want
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
If
So
you-
there might be somewhere I'm like, I know this is number
I'll
one.
find a formidable list, not one that has the Little Mermaid live action on it.
I mean, dude,
Whatever.
fits the bill for rom-com.
Whatever.
That's all I'm saying.
On to sports. Something just as romantic as rom-coms. So we're going to do 2 different segments on sports. One in our main podcast, we're going to talk about big games that are happening over the upcoming week and weekend. And then if you follow our TikTok or YouTube shorts, we're going to have all of our NFL picks posted on our TikTok and YouTube shorts. Going back and forth, I think we do 2 things and we'll alternate each week. One of us will pick the money line on them, and then one of us will pick the spread. So that way you can blame us if your sports betting goes wrong. But I think
Fun
it'll
fact,
be
not
fun.
liable for any gambling losses.
Agreed. Gamble at your own risk. Call that 1-800 number that you can Google if you have trouble gambling. But DraftKings sponsor us. But
Or FanDuel, either one. Whoever comes first.
yeah, I like DraftKings better, so DraftKings. But but whichever one, I'll wear a FanDuel shirt every day if you sponsor us. My first thing that I want to talk about, since I'll give you the pleasure of talking about this one, is I want to talk about number 1 Texas and number 18 Oklahoma, the good old Red River rivalry. I do not think this game's going to be fair at all. I think Texas is going to blow. And you know me, I love Texas football. Glad they're back into being a big team like Texas would. The burnt orange just looks amazing up there at the number 1 spot. But I think they're going to dog walk Oklahoma. Oklahoma might score twice.
Ooh. So the spread on ESPN is Texas by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't think it's gonna be that close either. I think it's
not at
I-
all.
I think they're being very generous, and I'm not trying to say Oklahoma's a bad team. They're really not. They're 4-1. They have a pretty good schedule, but this is Texas is playing on fire right now, and they really do look like the best team in the country when they're clicking. Now, hey, any given day, right? But this is going to be a big game, and I think it's going to be a big game for Texas.
Yeah, is what's his face playing, or is Arch Manning still going to play?
As I know, I think Arch is still starting.
Yeah, I think whichever one starts, it doesn't matter. I don't care. But I think the way Arch is playing, I think they keep him in the groove, especially with Oklahoma, and they let Ewers play against a team the next week, which is probably somebody just as good because they play in the SEC now. So I wouldn't doubt that they played like LSU next week or something.
They played Georgia at home.
Georgia. What a game, but
and then I would say the next week it would be easier, but Vanderbilt just beat Alabama.
Vandy living on a high right now, son. But we'll go with
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, what about
But,
yours, sir?
So my best, most favorite team in college football, I believe, is going to be game day. Have they announced that yet? Do we know?
It's probably it's either going to be them or Texas and Oklahoma because of the rivalry.
And see, I'm worried that might take the cake, but Number 2 Ohio State plays at number 3 Oregon next week, which for some ungodly reason is a conference matchup now because they let Oregon into the Big Ten. I'm not really excited about that, but hey, um, it's going to be a huge game. It's a 7:30 game. Um, Ohio State's favored by 3. It
College
should
game
be a
day
tight
will be
game.
there.
It will be okay. Good. It
Yes,
should be.
it's
It
game of the
deserves it.
week.
It's a
It's
matchup
two
between the
versus
2 of the
three.
top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an in-conference matchup once
Yeah.
again, which is stupid, but it happens to be that way. So, I have no love for Oregon, not in the slightest. I really don't like them at all.
Not now. I've actually never
uh,
liked them. I thought their 85 different uniform changes is fucking stupid.
well,
Their
that I think is
uniforms
kind of
are
baller.
great, but I disagree with changing them at halftime like they did that one time.
Yeah, that shouldn't be allowed. Yeah, I do think it's awesome they have so many uniforms, and you're sponsored by Nike. Good, go get it, whatever. But yeah, no switches at halftime. That's kind of dumb. I don't know why they would allow that. But no, I just have never really liked him. And then I didn't really care for Chip Kelly in college. Then he took over the Eagles and put us into a nosedive. So I really hated him after that. And just by association, hated Oregon even more after
There you go. There you
so
go.
really hoping for Ohio State to really click. We have some really good talent on the team this year. And wide receiver, I think Smith is his last name. I should be a better fan than this, guys. Sorry about that. But who I'm absolutely losing my mind. No, Jeremiah Smith, number 4. Yes, absolutely insane. Had a couple amazing catches the other week. One-handed grabs, just circus catches. Dude is balling. He really does look like an NFL talent already. At 6'3", 215 as a wide receiver in college, you have some pretty good
Yep.
advantages over some defensive backs.
Yep.
So
You're
that is pretty
solid.
awesome.
You are solid there. Ohio State always has good receivers. I mean, the
The
past,
last decade, we really have.
dude, you will go from this kid who's going to be a high draft prospect. You had Harrison Jr. before him. You had Chris Olave was from Ohio State. You had a lot of people. They're great for producing.
What's his?
They are wide
Oh,
receiver university at this point.
I'm blanking right now. On the Saints though, with Olave, Michael Thomas. Is that right? Is
Yeah.
that the name I'm thinking of? Yeah, Ohio State. Boom. And there's a player, the Jets wide receiver. He was kind of overshadowed by Olave being there, but I mean, yeah, we've put out some good wide receivers in the NFL recently, and like I said, about the last decade, and so very fortunate to have
Yeah,
some
you had
good
Terry
talent.
McLaurin.
Yep, Scary Terry. Um, which I feel like almost every athlete named Terry gets that fun little nickname, which is awesome. But um,
The guy from Seattle, Jackson Smith, however you say the other part of his last name,
Njiba,
Najigba,
yeah.
something like that.
Um,
Oh, you're talking about
the,
Garrett Wilson
yeah,
from the
yeah.
Jets. Very good, very good. Yeah, but that's going to be a huge game. The last huge college football game, matchup of the week is South Carolina versus Alabama.
Okay.
Here's what I think is going to happen to us as the Gamecocks. We are either going to win. This is it. We're going to win. Or Alabama just lost to Vanderbilt and we lose by 45 points. I don't think there's an in-between. I don't think it'll be a close game. It'll be a close game if we win. But we're going to lose by 45. We have the toughest 4 games I've ever seen in my entire life. Starting with last week at Ole Miss, who we lost by 20-something to them. Like, our schedule... So we should have started out undefeated, right? We should have beat
Sure.
LSU. We should have started 4-0. That LSU game was absolute crap with the refs. The refs ended that game really poorly, right? We demolished Old Dominion, demolished Kentucky, beat the crap out of Akron, should have beat LSU, should have started 4-0. Would have been ranked, would have been great. Then we play Ole Miss, lost by 24. Alabama's favored to win by 21.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody take Alabama with that. Everybody. I'll tell you, you can blame your gambling problems on me if you miss this. You take Alabama by 21. Then we play Oklahoma. And then we play Texas A&M.
Who, funny enough, might be the exact same scenario because Texas might beat the crap out of Oklahoma and then they come back to spurn you too.
Yes. And then after all that, we play Vanderbilt, who beat Alabama this year. And we always play bad against Vanderbilt for some reason. It should be an easy win every year, not this year. And then we play Missouri. And then we play Watford. If we lose to Watford, I'm just going to give up on South Carolina. And then we play Clemson. Not a good schedule this year for the boys.
I mean, it's a good schedule. It's just a really tough schedule.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule. 2 things more. Do you have any more in sports? I have 2 more things.
The only other one is I was actually going to bring up the other relevant college football game that's not actually Gamecocks Alabama is Ole Miss at LSU. So LSU's been very hit or miss. They've kind of had some cold streaks. Like Brandon mentioned, they kind of got a little bit of a bailout against South Carolina. But Ole Miss in Death Valley should be a good game. I mean, Tigers do play well at home, traditionally speaking.
Right.
But Ole Miss looks pretty scary.
Ole Miss looks good. I think they're going to be better than LSU. I think they are better than LSU this year.
And they're ranked higher, and they're close by. Don't get me wrong. It's not a far drive from Ole Miss to Baton Rouge. But it is still hard to play in Death Valley. And so this is going to be a good game. Mississippi, Ole Miss, not Mississippi State. Ole Miss is favored by 3. And so
I think that's fair.
I don't know, man. I really think Ole Miss wins this by like 7 or more.
I don't think so. Playing in Death Valley is hard. The real Death Valley for all you Clemson fucks out there. Come to the SEC, play some real football, and then you can talk. Anyway, I think Ole Miss will also win. So I have 2 more sports things. One's a fun fact. Phillies and Mets are playing in their little NLDS right now. I hope the Mets win. I hate the Phillies. All right, shout out to my cousin Brenna that loves the Phillies. Secondly, the Mets are going to at least play in the World Series this year. Because for all you sports fun little fact people and superstitions, baseball is a very superstitious sport. You know, don't cross your bats, rally caps, don't step on the foul line. But any team since the history of Major League Baseball began have beat the Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs, have gone to play in the World Series that year, and the Mets just beat them in the first round of the playoffs this year. So the Mets will statistically apparently make the World Series this year. Fun
Hey, man,
fact.
there's always a first. There's always a first.
It'd be cool. I hope it's not the Mets because I don't want to see the Phillies win.
Hey.
And then, secondly, for all you lovely soccer fans out there, we're on international break starting as of tomorrow. Go support the United States men's national team. We have a new coach. Great coach. A European coach, which is what we freaking needed. Greg Berhalter, we hire back, and he just loses us everything. But we have a new coach. We play Panama in a friendly on Thursday. We don't play in the Nations League this year. Not yet. And we're not playing in the World Cup qualifying for 2026 because we already qualified because we are one of the host nations. So go support the United States.
Yeah.
Go support the United States men's soccer team. That guy's going to be good. If he can take Tottenham to a Champions League final, he can do wonders with the United States men's national team. I tell you that. But it'll be good. Be excited to see because Pulisic is playing in Serie A out of his freaking mind right now. Also rumored that he's going to play in the Premier League next year at Liverpool because Mo Salah is going to leave when he doesn't renew his Liverpool contract.
Spicy, maybe.
It'd be cool to see. Still wouldn't be a Liverpool fan and would fall out of love for Christian Pulisic for 6 months out of the year, but it'll be okay. I'm not upset about it. But that's all that I have.
I have one more.
Sure.
So we already mentioned my love for Ohio State,
Sure.
and we know if you listen to the previous non-existent podcast, but I'm an Eagles fan. So I love anytime Dallas sets a record. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott specifically set a record this past weekend. Dak Prescott is the first quarterback to ever throw an interception on 2 different days during the same game. So if you kept up with Dallas's game this past week, they had a weather delay, and the game didn't start till very late, and it went on past midnight. So Dak Prescott threw one interception in the first half on Sunday, October 6th, against the Steelers. And then made it past midnight, and he threw another interception on Monday, October 7th, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So anytime something really fun like that happens and Dallas sets a new embarrassing record, I love it. Now, unfortunately, Dallas did go on to win the game, but I still found that highly amusing.
That might be the most amazing football stat that I've heard today, maybe the whole week. And so here at Slam Suspect, we only have one thing to say: fuck Dallas. That's right, everybody. Preston, I know you were a longtime listener of the other podcast that doesn't exist anymore, but still, fuck Dallas, dude. We hate them. There's like 5 things in life that we hate, and the Cowboys are one of them, and Liverpool's number 2. But maybe number 1. But, Richard, that's all that I have to say today.
All I got, brother.
Sweet. So, everybody out there, all you, what do we call them? The Slammers?
Slammers and one fister.
And one fister, Tino. We'll never forget you that you voted for Fister. But we're going for Slammers. We're going to do a thing. I got like 5, 6 koozies left of Slam Suspect with the old logo. Peep the new logo in the middle right here, by the way. Rick can't see it, but there is one right here. He just doesn't know. First 5 people to comment on this video once it's posted up on YouTube, I'll send you a koozie. So you better do that. But
just so we're clear, I'm going to comment.
Rick already has a koozie, so he can't comment. Fact. But everybody, thank you for listening. We're going to be posting once a week, every week. We're going to record on Mondays. They'll probably be posted live on YouTube during that. That way you could comment live in the audience. Then we'll have everything up on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on YouTube Podcasts, which they have a YouTube podcast thing now that I got to figure out. More than likely, we'll be posting on Thursday mornings, but we're not really sure yet. But if you check out our Instagram at Slam Swiss Fact, or our TikTok, which is also at Slam Swiss Fact, we will post on there to let you know when the first episode drops of the newest podcast / season / old podcast that doesn't exist anymore. So I got to create all of that again. But anyways, Rick had a blast. For everybody out there, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more fun facts, and also be on the lookout for our Instagram and TikTok of our NFL money line and spread picks. But anyways, we will talk to you later, and everybody have a wonderful week.